Hey everybody, today I'll be taking a look at the hardware features and software menus of the new Akai Pro MPC Live. Live is a fully standalone music production center, or MPC as it's more commonly known, capable of operating without being connected to a computer. When tethered to a computer, Live acts as a controller for the desktop version of MPC 2.0. This is really useful if you want the best of both worlds, to use your favorite virtual instruments and effects, while also taking advantage of the powerful feature set of 2.0 and the legendary MPC workflow. Also, the MPC desktop software can further integrate into your DAW as a VST, audio unit, or AAX plugin. From a specs standpoint, MPC Live features 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage. 10 gigs of sound content are included, pre-installed in the form of the Vault 2.0. The Vault features samples, kits, and instruments from world-class sound design companies including Loop Masters, Capsun Audio, Toolroom, MVP Loops, CR2 Records, as well as our own signature sounds. As always, the sounds included in the MPC hit hard and sound great, right out of the box. Weighing in at less than 6 pounds, the MPC Live ushers in a new era of ultra-portable production and performance. Powered by a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, Live is capable of running up to 6 hours when fully charged without having to plug into a power source. That's right, we've created a battery-powered MPC. This makes the ability to produce great-sounding music anywhere inspiration strikes a reality. Portable, powerful, and adaptable to nearly any musical style, the MPC Live makes going from studio to stage incredibly seamless by combining the power of a studio production centerpiece with the portability and rugged design of an on-stage workhorse. Simply put, MPC Live is a beast. Let's take a closer look. For those unfamiliar with the MPC workflow, let's get some basic terminology out of the way before going forward. Sequences are essentially the building blocks for creating complete tracks. Think of a sequence as a pattern or a phrase. Most MPC users and beat makers in general work in 2, 4, 8, or 16 bar sequences. But MPC Live lets you customize the exact number of bars you want to use for your sequence. Jay Dilla was famous for creating tracks using odd-numbered patterns like 5/4 or 7/4 and making them sound completely natural and amazing. All of this can be easily accomplished using the MPC. A program is a group of samples assigned to the pads. Think of programs as instruments. Some instruments have one sound in different registers, like a piano. Other instruments are a collection of multiple sounds, like a drum kit. Let's take a look at the top panel. At the heart of MPC Live is a 7-inch full-color multi-touch screen, amazingly responsive to the touch. The Shift button selects secondary functions for other buttons on the unit, labeled in gray. Press the Menu button to open the Mode menu. We'll take another look at that in a minute. Shift-click Menu to enter the browser. Use the browser to locate and select programs, samples, sequences, etc. Press the Main button to enter the main mode. This is your start page where you land when the MPC is first turned on and is a good place to head back to should you get lost. Click Shift and Main to enter Track View mode. Track View is a grand overview of all the tracks in your project. Here you can quickly see what's going on. An overview of your track's levels, pans, as well as mute, solo, and other settings can be seen here. The Undo Redo button is used to undo or redo your previous actions. The MPC has 512 levels of undo, redo available. Press Copy to copy one pad to another, or Shift-click to delete the sample from the pad. To copy a single pad quickly to another location, press and hold the Copy button. Tap the pad you wish to copy. It will be lit green. Tap the pad or pads you'd like to copy to the selected pad. These pads will be lit red. Release the Copy button. The Copy dialog will automatically close and the copy has been performed. Press Tap in time with the desired tempo to enter a new track BPM. These transport functions are self-explanatory. One thing to remember, when in overdub mode, you can add to the events in the sequence without overwriting any previously recorded information. The 4 touch-sensitive Q-Link knobs on the right are used to adjust various parameters and settings. The large clickable data dial is used to scroll through the available menu options or adjust the selected field in the display. Use the plus and minus buttons to adjust the selected field's value. Press the Q-Link button to change which column of parameters the Q-Link knobs currently control. Press and hold the Q-Link button to see an overview of what controls are available and quickly select any of the 4 columns. What would an MPC be without industry-defining pads? MPC Live features 16 velocity-sensitive, RGB illuminated thick fat pads. Responding to how you play, the intensity of the light on the pads varies from light to dark depending on how hard they're struck. The pad color is fully customizable. Each kit or program is a group of samples assigned to the pads. You can create up to 8 banks of pad samples or up to 128 individual pads per program using the pad bank buttons at the top of the unit. Banks A through D, or 1 through 4, can be accessed by pressing their respective buttons. E through H, or banks 5 through 8, can be accessed by holding Shift and clicking their buttons. You can also access pads E through H by double tapping the associated pad bank button. Rounding out the left side of the MPC Live is the Note Repeat button, which is used to repeat notes. More specifically, Note Repeat is used to create drum rolls. The time division is at the bottom of the touchscreen. Shift-click the button to latch the Note Repeat feature. When latched, you do not have to hold down the Note Repeat button for it to remain active. The velocity of the played note is determined by how hard you are pressing the pad. Hold Note Repeat, press a pad, and vary the pressure of the pressed pad to add some nice velocity variation to your drum rolls. When the full level button is pressed and lit, pads will trigger their samples at the maximum velocity level of 127. When shift-clicked, half level is selected, which will trigger their samples at the half velocity level of 64. Use the 16 level button to temporarily play the last pad hit on all 16 pads, which will give each pad a slightly different variation. Pitch, velocity, filtering, and various other options are available. This is particularly useful for creating melodies on the pads, or perfecting the velocity of a certain drum hit. There are a number of other selectable parameters available as well. As a sequence is playing, press and hold the erase button, and then press one or more pads to delete the note event from that pad. This is a quick and easy way to delete notes from your sequence without having to stop playback. When playback is stopped, pressing this button allows you to dive in and erase events with more detail. The story of what a great piece of gear is truly capable of can usually be told by looking at the back panel. MPC Live is no exception. First things first, let's fire up the MPC by pressing the power button. Moving from left to right, we have the power input used to connect MPC Live to a power outlet, simultaneously charging the lithium-ion battery in the process. Next, we have the USB 3.0 Type B port used for connecting Live to a computer. The two USB 3.0 Type A ports can be used for plugging devices into Live. These ports are also backwards compatible with older USB devices. These devices can include such things as a thumb drive to import your personal samples and save projects, USB-powered MIDI instruments that can be used to play the built-in library of instruments featured in the Vault 2.0, and even a QWERTY keyboard for typing and saving metadata relevant to your project. Speaking of storage, we've also included an SD card slot to access files directly using MPC Live. There are 2 MIDI inputs and 2 MIDI outputs. The MPC line has a well-earned reputation as the world's greatest samplers, and the MPC Live carries on that tradition. 2 balanced 1/4-inch audio inputs provide ways to record directly into Live from audio sources such as a mixer, synthesizer, drum machine, and more. There are also RCA inputs specifically for recording a phono-level audio source such as a turntable. This is great for producers who need an easy way of sampling vinyl directly into the MPC. Set the line phono switch to the appropriate position based on the inputs you're using. The record volume knob controls the volume of the inputs. Use the grounding terminal if using turntables with a grounding wire. If you experience a low hum or buzz, this could mean your turntables are not grounded. Use the Kensington lock slot to secure the MPC Live to a table or other surface. 6 audio outputs route your sound exactly where you want it. The phone's output is used to connect stereo headphones via standard 1/8" input. Lastly, the master volume knob controls the master left and right output level. The headphone volume is also controlled by the master volume knob. MPC Live comes loaded with thousands of great samples. But what if you need a permanent solution to the never-ending desire for more sounds and more storage? We got you. Live features a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive connector underneath the unit, enabling the installation of a solid-state hard drive. How does a standalone, battery-operated MPC with 10+ terabytes of samples and kits sound to you? Now that we've shown you the hardware features, let's take a quick look at the mode menu. Many of the exciting new features now available in MPC 2.0, such as audio track recording, clip launching, real-time pitch shifting, time stretching, and much more will be covered in greater detail in our MPC Lounge video series. Main. This is the central hub of your MPC. From this screen, you can configure the tracks and programs in your current sequence to the instruments you want to use. Grid view. Edit your MIDI performance here. Take advantage of the touchscreen interface to input, erase, or tweak notes. You can also take full advantage of the data dial here to adjust your note's position, size, pitch value, and velocity. Track view. The track view provides an overview of the tracks in your current sequence. Step sequencer. If you prefer the experience of a traditional step sequencer, this mode makes inputting individual notes using the touch interface fun and instantly gratifying. Use the slider area to tweak velocities and the presets bar to load different velocity patterns. XY effects. Use XY effects to add and perform various effects in real time by moving your finger across the touchscreen. There are a range of killer effects to choose from, including filters, delays, flangers, and faders. Sample edit. Here's where we trim, chop, and process samples. Use the touchscreen to quickly zoom the waveform or create slices. Program edit. Edit your program parameters here. Double tap any control to bring up the full screen editor. Record your own audio samples in sampler mode. Use the mixer strip on the left to record through multiple input effects plugins. Plug in any instrument and create your own live loop using looper mode. Pad mute. Easily mute pads within a program or set mute groups for each pad in this mode. Track mute. Track mute lets you easily mute tracks within a sequence or set track mute groups to use with the pads. Pad mixer. Here you can set volume, stereo panning settings, perform routing, and add effects for a comprehensive mixing experience. The channel mixer provides a comprehensive mixing environment. Next sequence mode lets you trigger different sequences by playing the pads. This is particularly useful for live performances when you want to change a song's structure in real time. Once you're happy with the sequences you've created, arrange your loops into a song in song mode. Browser. Search MPC Live's internal and external storage sources to load samples, sequences, and songs. Pad perform. Pad perform lets you assign musical scales, chords, or progressions to the pads for creative pad performances and a unique approach to inventing new melodies and harmonic progressions. Configure your RGB pads to the color layout of your choice in Pad Color. Configure the functionality of the Q-Link knobs using Q-Link Edit to control program or effects parameters. There you have it, the MPC Live. Unparalleled power, portability, and advanced production features all in one place.